Hey, it's Peggy Morse from Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, I'm gonna start off today with two terms: days on market and months of inventory. I'm sure you've heard those two terms, but just for simplicity's sake, and if you're a buyer or a seller or a dreamer like most of us who like to get online and just look at beautiful houses all the time, you can learn something from this today. So average days on market is simply the amount of time that it takes for any given house in a particular price range, in a particular region, in a particular neighborhood to sell. So let's say, for example, that in the month of March, 15 houses sold, and each individual house had a different number of days required for it to get sold, right? So you add up all of the days that it took to sell, and come up with some large number, and then you divide that by 15, and ta-da, that's your average days on market, or the average amount of days it takes to sell in that particular area, in that particular neighborhood, in that particular price point. That feeds into months of inventory, and that's a larger number, and again, kind of opening it up and looking at the larger scheme of things. Looking at, say, a subdivision or a region, you can look very closely and look at particular neighborhoods as well. But just to explain the term, months of inventory, basically what it means is how many houses are available at that given time. If no new houses came on the market, if no homes sold, and we were in a static environment, as in today, right now, what's the inventory like in a particular area? And that's what's called the inventory of homes available for sale. And why are these terms important? Well, they're important to both buyers and sellers. And there's a third principle that plays in on this, and it really helps to give you an indication of the temperature of the market, and that is the industry standard, regardless of where you live, might fluctuate a little bit by a half a month or a month or two, is that if you have an available inventory of homes that's somewhere between 0 and 5 months, then that is clearly a seller's market. If you have an inventory of available homes that's somewhere between 5 and 6 months, that's considered a balanced market. And it's not, nobody has the upper hand. It's not a seller's market, it's not a buyer's market, it's just kind of in the mid-range. So that's when it's a good statistic to know, but other things may come into consideration, such as the condition of the home, how soon do you have to move, how motivated are you to sell, etc. Then there's the third range of more long-term, and that is anything that's greater than 6 months of inventory on the market. That's considered a buyer's market because there's plenty of supply out there, and if nothing changed, no new homes came on the market, no homes were sold, and you were putting your house on the market, and if you priced it right, it would take that number, whatever it is, if it's 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, and there are some areas, especially in the higher price points, where there's sometimes 36 months of inventory. And so why is that important? Well, the obvious is that clearly that's a buyer's bonus, but also for the seller, it helps you in pricing your home in a appropriate way. If you have no desire to sell and you're just kind of like, I'm just going to put it out there and see what happens, and you don't need to sell, then you can price it however you want, and you kind of make those terms. But if, for example, you're a seller that just got a job relocation and you need to move in 48 days, and you're looking at upwards of 8 or 9 or 10 months to sell your home, well, there needs to be some conversation there between you and I, as far as you, my client, being the seller, to look at ways in which we can get your home to move more quickly, to give incentives, possibly, a home warranty, or helping to pay for the buyer's costs, and of course lowering your price or making it one in which it's very very competitively priced. So that's kind of where that is. And the same on the other end, if the inventory is there's only 2 months worth of inventory, if you're a buyer, that means that houses go on the market and pretty much within a month they're under contract, because basically from contract to closing, it takes somewhere between, 40 to 60 days. And some lenders can do it quicker than that, but the industry norm is about 45, 50 days, something like that. So as a buyer, if you're looking into an area in a particular price point and the available inventory is 2 months, you know that you've got to come in with a very compelling price, or you can't ask for a lot. Possibly you say, well, I'll take this house, I love it, we fell in love with it, it's exactly like the one I grew up in, or whatever the reason may be. But you say, we're not even going to do a home inspection because we love it so much. So those are all things that you and I would be talking about as far as how do we put together a appropriate offer if you're the buyer, and if you're the seller, what do we do to make this home sell in a time frame that is acceptable to you. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So I hope this was valuable information, and check back here, and I'll have something else in the next month, a little tip or possibly something fun about real estate in the area. And I would love to hear your comments. I'd like to answer questions. You can reach out to me at peggymorse.com. That's my website. And if you would like to email me, it's PM as in mother, ORSE at Carolina1, and the 1 is spelled out, Carolina1.com. So thanks for listening in. I hope this was valuable, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.